It would be great if I could finish my painting this week. I'm thinking that if I put in a lot of hours, that I can do it. A lot happened yesterday. I wasn't in the best mood. Oh no, my palette is dry already. I painted for probably 5 minutes before I gave up and had a meltdown. I was gonna work up here on some little detailed lines, but I felt terrified and unfocused. So instead, I worked on the figure, trying to get a little bit more specificity into his face, darkening some of his hair here, and working on the highlighted area of this shirt. And now that this is closer to done, I have a good reference point for the other areas I want to work on this week. Other than that, there's a Skyway competition with a bunch of student work coming up soon, and I was picking out a piece to enter because these two were made in a plein air class that I took, and these two were made during an independent study course. So even though I'm not a full-time student, I'm gonna enter these into 2 different student shows. There are things we do that require a lot of focus and other activities we can take on by memory with less attention. Painting, like many creation-based activities, leans way to the side of being focused. It's highly engaging and requires a continual reaction based on what's happening and our own observations. Being inside of this zone is often not a problem, like rolling down a hill, but entering that mentality is another story. I tend to hold on to my problems and thoughts like a safety blanket. If I just keep them in the forefront of my mind, I'll eventually have all the answers, right? Letting go of overthinking and worries so we can focus starts to become terrifying the more we put it off. It's the result of all the shoulds, wishes, and past beliefs piling up and blocking our view of what if, joy, and new opportunities. It would be nice to have this clarity while working, but I rarely do, and bad days are often the result. A couple times recently, I would sit down, ready to work with good intentions, but the heaviest heart and mind, spiraling down the rabbit hole of a million other things to think about and do instead. It's really rainy today. I worked a little this morning, but now I'm chilling.
Let's go.
Yeah, nothing. Call it creative block if you want, but I don't think it has anything to do with a lack of creativity. Or you can call it the resistance like Steven Pressfield, but no matter what you name it, it's just you wanting to be in that other world of flow and creating, but yet not being able to let go of everything that feels so much more important, urgent, or difficult. I'm so curious why it feels polarizing to move from general thought to focus, from everyday life to work time. Why does there have to be a weight on the one process and activity that brings so much contentment, to the point that many of us put it off, hide it under the table, and wait months to get back to the projects that require our attention and energy? Weirdly enough, cleaning up after I work and setting up beforehand is the closest bridge between what is practical and my creative time. So even when other things don't work, I try to savor this activity, seeing it as a part of the process, and it keeps me grounded when my thoughts are all over the place. Research has proven there's a link between overthinking and creativity, but more specifically, a heightened imagination. So it's natural for the artist in us to generate endless problems and solutions. This can promote action when things don't feel right, yet if we don't find ways to manage this trait emotionally, we can get stuck running in every direction. A couple days into this stage of the process, and I was starting to see improvements. This little confidence boost was exactly what I needed to invest more of myself into the work and continue bringing each detail into life. Creating art and expressing myself can feel unnecessary at times, next to all the other things on my to-do list. But the satisfaction I get from seeing progress is a great reminder that this work is worthwhile. Ultimately, making authentic work and also experiencing approaching the day-to-day goes hand in hand, and I try to notice where these things connect instead of separating the two. My life is my inspiration, and nurturing it can make my art become more genuine and rich, while creating is often a remedy for small daily stresses. Recognizing this relationship between everyday life and art removes the pressure of choosing which to prioritize. And for the months or the years of my life I didn't focus on physically painting, I was building the knowledge and identity necessary for when I did pick up a brush. Everything you are goes into the art in unexplainable ways. Even just knowing this can lift our confidence and show us that things can be resolved. Last week was a little rough. It ended well. I finished everything I needed to do. I got my video out. Things weren't bad. I just realized how overwhelmed I was becoming week to week. I have an idea for how I'm gonna change things up, and that is giving me a little energy boost right now. My plan is that I will post a video every other week. I want to include a wider section of the process in each video. If I have 2 weeks to record, then that'll come across better, and I'm hoping that'll give me some free time to balance myself out more, include other fun things in my vlogs, and also allow me to focus on the work while I'm doing it. I won't be as worried about getting enough footage. Even if you're not making videos, most artists have multiple projects on their plates or other responsibilities, and so realizing when you need to reassess and move things around is really important. I needed to remind myself that everything I'm working on is an experiment. I would love to finish this in the next 2 days. I have been working on this for a while. I'm ready for new stuff and I don't want to drag it out. This is actually going really well today. Thank you, sunshine, good weather. I made some progress here and I like where it's going, but I think it's gonna need more layers, and up here too, bring the dust back in. Made my little weekly recap. Follow me on Insta. Also, he's working. I'm not anymore because I think I did enough for today and it's looking great. Still have a little more work to do there, but I'm hoping that tomorrow I can finish that and then move into the sand. And it definitely has a better sense of depth now that the back and some objects there are solid. Say hello. I'm trying to stress out less. Is it working? I don't know. Figuring out how to paint dust was a fun challenge that encouraged me to play. After observing and trying to replicate the look in several different layers, I'd realized there was no way for me to perfect this, to solve it like a puzzle even though I wanted to. Based in movement and not real knowledge, I found a pattern that worked for me, and accidentally lowered the wall between focused work and a more relaxed mindset in the process. It is 10:25 and I just sat down and painted without talking to you guys so that I could get into things a little better. The sun is finally peeking out and I have plans to do a lot today. So I'm going to try and do this before lunch. I think that's enough. We are going on a little adventure to go do an estimate for a potential landscaping client while Yvonne is. I'm just joining. We'll come back to this guy later. The sun came out this morning, but now it looks pretty gloomy again, so maybe it's okay that I'm not painting. Who knew an artist's life would be so dependent on the weather? You knew?
Should we stop by Staples?
Yeah, let's just look.
Yeah,
I'm gonna bring my... Time to go to Staples and look at chairs. I wish it was gonna stay like this. Okay, time to open this bad boy. Then I'll have a chair that's comfortable. Where are you going? I love it. It's basically like having the door open. I need to absorb as much sunlight as possible so my brain can make it until summer. Bye, Pancho. Now painting will be a lot comfier and hopefully will make me paint a little bit more. This is nice. Highly recommend. Waiting for the dogs, and I need to go get ready. Ducks. That's what I want to be doing. Good morning. I'm trying to shift gears and figure out what we're painting today. And honestly, things are looking pretty good. So I was gonna work on this area, but I think that this needs to stay less worked and lower contrast. So I'll leave it for last and kind of focus my energy down here on the sand. I'm really close. Oh boy! I'm noticing the overall color is not right. I just haven't put in enough layers. I'd like to think I've always been a flexible person who goes with the flow and even enjoys some interruptions, but at the same time, I probably value a high standard for my work and self more than necessary. So if the cost of a life experience was less time spent perfecting something, I often passed on it. But I've learned over time that great creations are not made at the easel alone, but in every moment between the start of an idea and its final form. The mid-morning coffees, grocery trips, movie nights, and general chaos of every day is the work too. There's no avoiding it, so why fight its presence and influence on my time and my artwork? Cheers. The more time I spend outside, the better. We're just gonna chill out here momentarily. My battery is dying. Pancho, you like it outside today? It's great. Got me some matcha. Nice jacket. He's burning stuff. Can hear the birdies. I feel a lot more calm when we spend time outside, even if it's just for like 10 minutes. I went home this weekend to hang out with my family. It wasn't very long, and this morning Vaughn and I dropped off the dogs, the vet, but now I'm ready to get settled. Started laundry, I'm doing some cleaning. I do want to finish this week, but I think I need to just get organized before I start any of that. Love it. It's so pretty. I hate to say it, but I'm not painting again today. I mean, hopefully this evening I'll do a couple hours. But we're in the process of moving my couch outside like it was last summer and putting in a new flat file cabinet for artwork. I'm a little out of breath. Every day there's something else going on right now. All necessary things, it's just taxing to get done. I'm feeling good about finally being organized, and this will still get done very shortly. One thing at a time, I'm not getting overwhelmed. Also, cute little banana trees in here now. Really love him.
Good. Oh, it's big.
It looks really big in our room. It's like it's great. Been working back and forth through this bottom area slowly. I really wanted to finish tomorrow. I don't know if that'll happen, but maybe today is a good day to kind of work a little bit later. Vaughn has been working on cleaning his space and putting material into the new file cabinet. I'm just gonna keep working. After numerous distractions, rainy or cloudy days, and just general life stuff taking over, I was determined to wrap this painting up. While I'd set a deadline and passed it several times already, my sticky note on this day gave me the confidence that I would get everything finished. I listed out the areas left to touch up and had spent the previous night visualizing what I wanted to do. I had no excuses and a clear day ahead. a rare thing, honestly. And I reminded myself that whatever I felt was undone here could always be accomplished in the next piece, and that this was just a small drop in all of the work that I will make. I was pretty excited to be putting in the last lines and details. To see the work of several weeks come together is satisfying. For me, the experience of making a painting is different from looking at one, even the same one I just finished. And bit by bit, I can feel things coming to an end, as if the canvas quiets down and no longer has a voice in each area calling for attention. It's a very tangible feeling of letting go. Nothing is perfect in the end, but the image gets to a point where it looks evenly imperfect, and as one whole instead of many layers. While painting, every inch is seen and holds much of my energy, but the door into this world begins to close now, content with the time that we've spent together. Sometimes I wish I could be more unconcerned with the process, not examine how things look and feel so much, and generally be less attached to outcomes, but then I might not have ever made this painting or video in the first place, and ultimately that seems worse. Many challenges come with creating art, ideas, or anything, overthinking being a big one. If you feel pulled in many directions or think you lack focus, know that it's all a part of the process, and letting go of how things should be will keep you moving forward.
I think I'm done. Now I just want to sit here and look at it.
Observing, playing, and taking the time to expand my perspective even in small ways has made it easier to sit down and work later. I feel more balanced, more accepting of what I can and can't control in each moment. No, painting will not solve all the problems and worries in my head, and even 100 little snack breaks and great organization won't make the best painting. But knowing that my personal life and creations can coexist quiets the overthinking just enough so I can make something beautiful out of a seemingly ordinary life.
Thank you for joining me on my ridiculously long and semi-stressful process.